So I've been seeing a lot of posts about friends with benefits situations, and I don't usually record while driving, but I'm on one of my favorite long drives right now, and I always do a lot of good thinking on this drive, so I thought, well, maybe I'll try it. Friends with benefits is a really touchy subject. It's a touchy subject actually for women and men, because men do find themselves feeling a little trapped, or a little bit like it doesn't matter how honest I am with her, or how honest I've been, she's just really pissed, and that's a bummer. It doesn't feel good to have somebody be mad at you, right? So let's talk about how people meet, right? You meet somebody, or they're a friend already, and you decide as a woman, I like how I feel around this guy, I want to have sex with him. Because the only reason that you should have sex is because you want to. Sex is not transactional. You shouldn't have sex with somebody because you're hoping that they give you a relationship, or because you're sort of expecting some kind of exchange for it. So it's also disempowering for you not to admit that you like and want and need sexual contact or affection. That's disempowering to not own that, because then anytime you have that, you're a victim if you don't get a relationship out of it. How long a relationship? 3 months, 6 months, 2 years? What makes it valid? What makes it okay that you shared your body? What's going to make you feel like, well, I shared my body for the right reasons? I'll give you a right reason right now, because you wanted to. That's enough of a right reason. There you go. You're welcome. That's where shaming women about sex, is, and this is not a new thing. I'm not talking about the current, political climate, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about since women were owned, since women became property. So that overall paradigm that a woman is supposed to not just want sex for the sake of sex is making it so that we have these exchanges with people, we have these connections with people, and then we decide that was a total and complete waste of time. Well, you have to flip that logic. If it was a total waste of time, what were you hoping to get out of it that would have validated it to make it not a waste of time? And at what point did you know that? And that's the question. Because if you, let's say, I'm just going to say this, all sex is casual at first, unless you've been dating a couple months without having sex, and you've had a conversation about the fact that I'm not having sex with you until we're in a monogamous relationship. But if you go out and you meet a guy and you go on 2 or 3 dates and you have sex with him, he is still an acquaintance that you are getting to know, and one of the ways that you're getting to know him is sex. So, which is great, because then you know if you are compatible that way, because that's a really, really important thing for relationships. So if you're getting to know somebody and you're having sex with them, and at some point it clicks over for you and you say, you know what? I like this guy. I like who he is. I kind of like how he operates in the world. So far, I like what I see. Then it is on you to say to him, I'm having fun, but I don't want this to be just a sex thing. Now, that doesn't mean that I need a ring, or, and you should be using condoms, by the way, because then you do not want to not use that. That's a really good way to have a conversation about being in a monogamous relationship. I've digressed, sorry. So unless you say, I don't want this to be just a sex thing, we don't need to be engaged or anything, but I want to know if we're going to continue to see each other. I want to know that we're both looking at this as we're exploring this to see if it could be more. That's all I want to know, because that's honestly all a man can even consider after a week or two. And if he's considering more than that, if he's trying to nail you down and make you commit after a couple weeks, that's not a healthy male. That's a controlling, insecure male. If you don't, when you know you want more, if you don't say so, and you continue to have sex with him for, say, 3 more months, right? You are now betraying yourself. You're betraying yourself. And this is an example of how what goes on inside of us is what is reflected outside of us. So if you feel betrayed, you always need to look and say, where was I betraying myself in this relationship? So when you share your body, share your time, share your energy, share your heart, and you realize 3 months down the line that he has not valued that at the same level that you have, he was not looking at it that way, now you feel betrayed. Now he took advantage of you. Now it was just sex. Now it was just that. It was just sex in the beginning. You never said anything to change it. So if you tell somebody that, I just want this to be, I want to know that if we're going to continue to hang out, that we're at least exploring something, you know, the possibility of something more, then you see how he responds. You let him pursue you, and it will either turn into more or not. So, and if it doesn't, then you say, okay, well, I got to know him for a little while, and I thought maybe it could be more, but he didn't, and okay. So we move on. And take the shame out of the sex, because you were just a human being getting to know another human being. Now, if that's too much for you, then don't get to know people that way. Don't. Because all sex is casual in the beginning. It is. No man is having sex with you with the intent of figuring out if you're girlfriend material. That's not what he's thinking. All he's thinking is, wow, I like her. I like how I feel about her. I would like to have sex with her. And then he's thinking, I'd like to see her again. That's it. And then on the next date, he's like, wow, I still like her. That's it. It's very simple. It's very present. And you can resent them for that, or you can just understand it and you can operate in your world, get your life done, get your options, keep your options open, and don't have sex if it's too bonding for you. But if that's an important part of getting to know somebody and you really like to know if you're compatible in that way, then have sex, use condoms, enjoy it, see if you think it could be more, and don't try to make something work just because you've already been there. You don't owe that to the world. Like, oh, I've shared myself with this guy, therefore I gotta turn this into a relationship. And you might not even be conscious of that feeling. You might not even be conscious of the notion that somehow you have to prove that it wasn't a mistake to have shared yourself. Because the thing is, you have all these bonding and trust hormones that get released when you have sex with somebody. And it's not that it's not real. It's funny, I was explaining it to my daughter this way. I was saying, you know how you have a really great morning and you're doing your work and you care about your work and you're getting everything done and you're hitting your deadlines, and it's kind of because you had some really good coffee that morning. The work is real, the feelings are real, everything's real about it. It's just a little fueled. And so if you can think about dopamine and oxytocin and adrenaline, which are all these hormones that are released when you're meeting somebody and you're excited about somebody, if you can acknowledge those as just okay, they're sort of fueling all these feelings I have about this connection, and what you're actually excited about is an imagined future. And that's the thing, men are not as in that imagined future as women are. So if you can sort of slow your roll in the sense and go, okay, there's a lot of chemicals at play here, right? And I hear a lot of you doing that in the group. I hear a lot of you saying, okay, I'm like getting excited, I can feel myself doing this. Remember, what you are getting excited about is an imagined future. It's actually not real. So nobody can actually take that away from you because it's not real. So it's wonderful that you see this person as having that kind of potential, but he's going to have to show you that. He's going to have to show you that one action at a time. There are many doors to your heart. Let him earn his way through each one. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay.